We definitely heard some inspirational stories this morning coming from different sides, but some may say that deep tech funding, it rewards scale, and most European cities are not that big, especially ecosystems that we have here. So in these next two stories, actually, we're going to explore how smaller hubs of innovation can compete amongst the giants. And I love this next title of this next presentation, Punching Above Your Weight. If we look at boxing terminology, it actually has several meanings, and one of them is that you are boxing someone who is bigger than you, and your punches are not as effective. But in the same time, it can also mean that you are with such high potential that you can play with the big boys due to your skill. So what's the story of Sherbrooke in Canada? Well, let's welcome its Economic Development Deputy Director, Stephen Cabana. Welcome. Welcome, Stephen.
Paldies. Labdien visiem. Un paldies, ko esat šeit. Now, I have to do this in 15 minutes. I usually do it in 2 hours, so I'll do it in English. Otherwise, I won't understand what I'm saying. So thank you for having me. Most assume deep tech, and I'll be referring to this, otherwise you'll kick me out because I won't be able to do it in 15 minutes. So most assume deep tech belongs to major global cities, London, Shenzhen, Tokyo. But across the world, a few mid-sized cities are quietly building deep tech hubs, and successful ones. They're competing globally, and sometimes they're even ahead of the pack. So today I want to explain to you why such thing happens. But before we begin, I have a few questions for you. I just want to know who considers himself as having a scientific background. Could you raise your hand, please? Not so many. And who's related to a university of some sort, like an academia professor? Good, all right. So, although we're going to talk about deep tech, this keynote is about social science. So it might take, we like to bug our scientific people where I'm from, so it might require a rather humble posture from those science geeks amongst you, knowing that the solution resides in social science. So if you do not master the social science magic, maybe should I? Yeah, if you do not master the social science magic behind ecosystem deep tech building, you will never build a successful deep tech hub in a mid-sized city. Honestly, not even in a large one. So I am an ecosystem builder. I make things happen. And yes, that sounds bold and possibly overconfident. But deep tech hubs are not built by spectators. So let's see why. Sherbrooke is, at most, a mid-sized city upon Canadian standards. And yet, over time, it has developed the most advanced quantum deep tech ecosystem or hub in the country. And even one that is now copied by global major deep tech hubs. Which raises an important question. How does a smaller city become globally relevant in highly competing environments such as quantum science, as an example? So again, Tokyo, Shenzhen, London, all those are big, really big. But when you try competing against them in deep tech, let me tell you that when you face them, they're even bigger. They suddenly feel really, really big. Yesterday, on this very stage, Anne Nielsen said something extremely important, in fact, in the opening keynote. She basically asked us to be crazy, to get crazy. And then she added one thing. In her own words, she said, stop processing new challenges or today's challenges with, So stop challenging today's, processing today's challenges using yesterday's mental software. As far as deep tech hub construction or building, she was absolutely right. She is absolutely right. If your strategy relies on the MIT certified, let's say, serious ecosystem building handbook, don't expect your mid-sized city to win the champion leagues in terms of DeepTech Hub, not even to qualify. That is not how abnormal hubs are constructed or emerge. Actually, to make it happen, it's not about density. So DeepTech success is not about density. It's about collaboration first. You've heard collaboration yesterday. You've heard it today again. It's how institutions align, how researchers can work with industry, how ecosystems can mobilize quickly around major priorities. And for that to happen, huge hubs, well, they follow the rules. And small hubs, they break the rules. So I'll come to that a little later on. If you want to thrive in the formal world of serious capital investment, serious capital intensive innovation, you need people who are comfortable dealing with 0.1% chances of success project. So you need the crazy ones, the uncomfortable outliers, and those who you don't want to be joining your competitor's hub. If protecting your career is your utmost priority, do not play this game. You really need to reset your mental operating system. And for the more conventional decision makers, let me warn you, building a successful DeepTech hub in a mid-sized city will feel a wee bit like wearing that beautiful Irish sweater you've always wanted. It's going to be warm, it's going to be really, really warm, maybe hot, and it will be itchy as hell at times. So for 40 years, it's 40 years in progress, Sherbrooke was a standard, like 40 years ago, Sherbrooke was a standard industrial economy. Then they decided to do one thing, one big thing. And that big thing was crazy for some people at the time. They specialized their then mediocre physics department into one vertical, only one, quantum. So this transformation was initiated deliberately, and they became extremely strong in one specific field, meaning a lot of risks. Let's now take a look at how they turned that crazy behavior into a collective, strong economic asset. So the second thing they've done is they've built this integrated innovation chain. So building or call it whatever you want. But the idea here is the main objective is to build a garden. It is not, and that's probably the most important thing I will have to say to you today. It is not about setting an objective on trying to have this or that amount of deep tech startups being or existing or being built in your ecosystem. In simple terms, it's not about growing the vegetables. It's really about building the garden. It's not about creating startups. It's about creating the conditions, the absolute best conditions. And then don't worry, just like in the movie, build it and they will come. The startups will come, they will scale, they will thrive, and your economy will industrialize accordingly. So that's part of our ingredients. I'll tell a few here, but you can find them on the screen. It takes research magic, structured academia or talent production, like bachelor's degree in quantum, master's degree, PhD students in quantum, shared prototyping infrastructure, shared, ESOs, entrepreneurial support organizations, venture capitalists, startup community magic, early adopters, very, very important in such long runway verticals, scale-ups, shared also pre-industrial infrastructures, global integrators. I mentioned one out of many, Quebec-based CGI. They have their office 700 meters from mine, and their headquarters 100 kilometers from mine. So they're now very well interested in what we're doing. World-class urban master planning. That's really, really important. Global markets, and then industrialization follows, and it is happening right now. So in the case of Sherbrooke, that represents 1.5 billion euros injected by both private and public investors over the past 8 years. So for a small city, that's quite a lot of money. But also, and mainly, it involved magic. So the hardest part is not science, nor is it brick and mortar. The hardest part is where mediocrity resides, but also from where excellence can arise. And that is alignment and collaboration. And I'll try to be more specific and more concrete about it. We heard yesterday that DeepTech Hub success, as counterintuitive as it may sound, is a long-term collective project. Long-term, in a world where access to market, or like the previous speaker just said, is done within 5 weeks sometimes. But it's still a long-term project. Yesterday, right here where I stand, my friend Anu Pusag from Technopol in Tallinn said something extremely important also. She said, collaboration becomes the real issue when building deep tech hubs. And she emphasized, the real roadblock is trust. I could not agree more. Successful hubs, they do rely on trust first. And trust tends to build faster in tightly connected communities or environments. And where does that usually happen? Well, back there in small places. It happened once, remember, on a backroad place called Silicon Valley. Places where nothing is anonymous, where projects and people bear names instead of numbers, where relationships are personal, where the mayor shops for his grocery at the same place that does the scientist and the venture capitalist. But frankly, the city size doesn't really matter. What does matter is creating a mid-size or a small-size city mindset, not a capital or state capital mindset. Whether your capital has a small size, if you still have a capital mindset in your environment, trust will be hard to develop. So smaller environment mindset forces, mindset forces you to rely on human differentiation to overcome the structural advantages of larger hubs, like the strong structural advantages of those hubs. In practice, that is collaboration and trust, acting as a link here in between those ingredients. That's the real success. That's the real key to making it happen. So it's acting as a link between science, technology, infrastructure, and capital. So when asked by our host here, Artis, how one could solve the trust issue in Deep Tech Hub building, Anu answered something like, if I knew, I would not have stated it as a major roadblock. So how do we make it happen then? So Sherbrooke has become relevant because over time, it became collectively coordinated, specialized, and globally connected. And other mid-sized cities are following similar paths right now. When trust is arising, three things matter enormously. The first thing that happens is there are more scientific breakthroughs because people collaborate faster. There are stronger infrastructures and support organizations because alignment accelerates and boosts execution. And there's sustained scientific, industrial, and commercial capacities because when hub actors trust each other, they invest long-term. Deep tech being a long runway vertical, that is utmost important. So let me give you 3 examples to be as concrete as possible among many things existing in Sherbrooke. How much time? Oh, I'll do that fast. When granted the biggest ever sum of money, the Apogee grant, by the Canadian Federal Scientific Authorities, the Quantum Institute decided to give access to the obtained resources to the students. So you can imagine the professors who've been working all their lives to have access to that money. They were suddenly competing against their own students. 10 years later, the 2 most promising companies out of Sherbrooke Quantum Hub are flying high. Some of them are soon to reach the C phase of the quantum benchmark initiative of DARPA. That's $300 million US, by the way. Their respective CEOs were students who were given access to Apogee. The city of Sherbrooke also decided to invest 50% of its new property tax generated by the university from a given date and beyond, and it's still going, in support programs. Federal, provincial, and even private sectors followed. And we're talking here about hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's still going on. And this is in soft cost. They've invested it in soft cost, not in infrastructure. And also, all science and engineering grants obtained by professors and researchers at the Institute, also at the engineering faculty, are pooled and managed by their research institute, thus alleviating the multiplication of small labs, but instead bolstering the erection of huge, modern, and well-maintained research facilities, where even research professionals are hired and managed as a pool of human resources shared by all. So that takes a lot of trust and a lot of collaboration. International delegations that are visiting us constantly reminds us, we had 2 from Estonia lately, that these details make the difference and that they could not imagine being able to implement it because collaboration is currently lacking. To close this keynote very swiftly, I want to emphasize on the fact that the future of deep tech will be multipolar. It's already happening. You saw yesterday in some keynotes that many countries, small or big, are planning or have already embedded that in their strategic planning, big or small. So the future will belong to highly specialized ecosystem capable of collaborating globally while remaining deeply rooted. Sherbrooke is one of those places. Others are emerging. And let me bring back to the words of the speakers that came before me. Ecosystems that will succeed are the ones willing to be crazy and the ones capable of solving the trust issue. And that is exactly why smaller innovation hubs will always be punching above their weight. Liels paldies.
Thank you, Stephen. That's how it's done. Wonderfully done and orchestrated, and including in all of today's and yesterday's program. Thank you for referencing those things.